When the caliber of teams around you is so dominant, sometimes just being good is not good enough. In the summer of 2020, Envy signed the roster of Together We Are Terrific, a collection of unsigned former CSGO pros competing with the likes of TSM, Cloud9, and Sentinels. Despite the initial good results, First Strike and early VCT events show that teams like Sentinels and 100 Thieves were just better. Over the course of a year, Envy slowly rebuilt surrounding in-game leader FNS with an entirely new team. Now, the veteran CSGO IGL, 2 talents cast aside from T1, an impactful controller on loan, and a potential star on the rise find themselves in Berlin looking to finally carve out their place on the very top. The process of rebuilding began just a month after the original roster was signed, as Envy parted ways with Akis and Calypso and signed Food and Crashies. Envy's in-game leader sought the ability to compete at high level in the future for its new core.
Well, I knew they would just create a perfect core with me because they're smart players and extremely talented players, and I understood that they hadn't played with too many good IGLs in their past as well. So I knew that if I did a good job of kind of helping them with direction, they would definitely help me in the same way, and we just sync well off of each other, and we were also friends outside of the game, so that definitely helped.
Both players had become available after roughly 4 months spent with the T1 North American VALORANT roster. During that time, the team struggled to mesh and meet their high expectations, paving the way for Envy to swoop in and pick up the 2 players for themselves.
Yeah, I think they were slightly too predictable in the early stages of their team, and also because there was so much hype surrounding that roster, they definitely didn't meet their expectations. I couldn't tell you why, and I don't really want to speculate because I wasn't part of that team, but one thing I can say is they definitely were slightly predictable when we did play them, and then when we ended up beating them, I think Food and crashies definitely felt the need or Victor and crashies definitely felt the need to make that change, and I was able to convince them.
The additions of Food and crashies provided an instant energy to the Envy roster, with Food providing extra firepower at the duelist role, while crashies reliably handled the bow and arrow of Sova, being one of the most prominent professional VALORANT compositions. The trio of FNS, Food, and crashies, along with Caboose and Mame, made a strong initial impression at First Strike, but went above and beyond to begin VALORANT Champions Tour. They went undefeated in Stage 1 Challengers 2, defeating Sentinels not once, but twice, and ended up finishing 4th in both NA Stage 1 and Stage 2. While that result is nothing to scoff at, it was a bit below the high expectations Envy had set for themselves. They sought out more firepower and ended up also getting someone who could control the map and help lead the team. FaZe Clan's Marved.
I think he used to in-game lead for FaZe, so that's one burden lifted off of him, so he can just kind of play his own game. And I think I do a pretty decent job, just like with the rest of my other players, of facilitating what his needs are and making sure that he's also able to have impact while being a Smokes character, which in the past, sometimes he was too aggressive or felt he needed to do it too much. I think on this team he realizes he has a lot of firepower and intelligent teammates as well, that he doesn't have to do so much. So he's able to take his timings, take his time, and can be a smarter player.
With Marv, the team qualified for Stage 3 NA Challengers playoffs, but only by the skin of their teeth. And it was clear that teams like Sentinels and 100 Thieves were not slowing down. They needed more firepower. An electric duelist who could change the course of games on the dynamic agent that is Jett. That is exactly why they got Anbox's Ye, a player who instantly raised the ceiling of what Envy's VALORANT could accomplish.
It's definitely a massive weapon to have because I can just tell him what to do, where to go, but a lot of the times he already knows. So I kind of just let him play his game and just let him loose and kind of play around him, you know? So having a player like that is definitely gonna help you no matter who it is. At the end of the day, for us, it's Ye, you know, players like CNED, just all these incredible Jetts that, you know, do what they do for the team. A lot of the times, you're not telling them what to do, they just do it, and you know, it's natural for them. So having a player like that definitely helps us and playing our own game as well and kind of facilitating what he does and it doesn't do.
Ye's arrival came at the perfect time, as his presence on Jett was a key factor in Envy's win over TSM, FaZe, and XSET, earning them a spot in Berlin. While at the event, they finished at the top of their group to secure themselves a spot in playoffs. By his own admission, FNS believes that Ye has the highest skill ceiling of any player currently on the team, but he's incredibly proud of how proficient everyone on the team has been so far.
It's too hard for me to say anyone else other than Ye. I think he has the highest skill ceiling on our team for sure. I think that's very obvious just based off what you're seeing, but the things you guys don't see a lot of the times are players like Food, or oh my god, I keep calling him Food. Players like Victor and players like Crashies who do so much in terms of not just like fragging but also communication. Same with Lara, does this fantastic job of lurking and also making really key comms, having good timings, making good overall perfect ults. You know what I mean? So it's at the end of the day, it's hard to pick simply because even though Ye might have the highest skill ceiling in terms of just peak mechanical skill, everyone does their role, in my opinion, close to perfectly on the team. Sky's the limit with this roster, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think I've had a stronger roster in, definitely not in my VALORANT career. So I have no problems with that. I know we're gonna become very good, very, very quickly if we're not already. And the aim is to be the best. So.
Thanks for watching. For more gaming related content, subscribe to the Esports YouTube channel to stay up to date.